Imagine this. You've done everything right. You've watched your diet, you've stayed active, you've listened to the doctor. And for years, one message has echoed louder than all the rest. Salt is the enemy. Reduce salt, cut salt, avoid salt at all costs. It's in everything, they say, lurking in your food, ready to raise your blood pressure, ready to damage your heart. This warning, delivered with the weight of unquestioned medical authority, has shaped how you eat, how you shop, even how you think about flavor. It's a constant, low-grade anxiety, a nutritional tightrope walk where salt is the invisible force waiting to make you stumble. But what if this widely accepted truth isn't the whole story? What if the relentless focus on cutting salt is missing a crucial piece of the puzzle? What if, for many, it's not just ineffective, but potentially harmful? This film asks a single, profound question. Is salt truly the villain we've been led to believe? Or have we been fighting the wrong enemy all along? For decades, the narrative has been simple, clear, and seemingly irrefutable. High salt intake leads to high blood pressure, and high blood pressure leads to heart disease. This message is everywhere. It's on food labels, in doctors' offices, splashed across headlines. It's the bedrock of dietary guidelines for major health organizations around the world. Why is this belief so deeply ingrained? Because, on the surface, it makes sense. Salt, or sodium chloride, helps regulate fluid balance in the body. More salt means more water retention, which can increase blood volume. Increased blood volume, in turn, can put more pressure on your artery walls. This seems like a direct, linear cause and effect. And for some people, it is. The history of this idea stretches back surprisingly far. As early as the late 19th century, physicians observed that restricting salt seemed to help patients with severe fluid retention and high blood pressure. By the mid-20th century, strict low-salt diets, like the infamous rice diet, were used to manage malignant hypertension. These early observations, while based on extreme cases and severe restriction, laid the groundwork for the population-wide recommendations we see today. The idea took root, grew, and became conventional wisdom. It became the unquestioned standard. It became the only story told. Yet even as the low-salt message became dogma, cracks began to appear in the foundation of this seemingly solid consensus. Quietly, in the background of the dominant narrative, researchers started noticing something peculiar. Not everyone responded to salt restriction in the same way. Some people saw their blood pressure drop significantly when they cut salt. They were deemed salt-sensitive. But many others saw little to no change. They were labeled salt-resistant. This was the first hint that the simple equation, salt in, blood pressure up, was far too simplistic. It suggested that individual biology played a critical, perhaps even dominant role. Then came the studies that truly started to challenge the established order. Large, long-term observational studies, looking at thousands of people over many years, began to paint a more complex picture. Some found no significant association between sodium intake and mortality or cardiovascular events in older adults. Others even suggested a J-shaped or U-shaped curve, indicating that both very high and very low sodium intake might be associated with increased risk of adverse cardiovascular events and mortality, while moderate intake appeared safest. Now, a part of you might be thinking, "But my doctor told me to cut salt. Are you saying they're wrong?" And that's a perfectly rational thought. The standard recommendations are based on a body of evidence, much of which shows that reducing salt can lower blood pressure, especially in certain groups like those with hypertension or who are salt-sensitive. But science is an ongoing process of discovery. New research using more sophisticated methods and looking at long-term outcomes in diverse populations is forcing us to reevaluate old assumptions. The first crack in the foundation is this undeniable fact. The relationship between salt and heart health is far more nuanced than we've been led to believe, particularly as we age. What pioneers in this field have discovered is that focusing solely on reducing salt is like trying to conduct an orchestra by only telling the brass section to play quieter. It might have some effect, but it ignores the rest of the musicians and the complex interplay between them. The first foundational strategy born from this new understanding isn't just about taking something away. It's about adding something vital. It's about balancing the electrolytes. The what? This strategy centers on increasing your intake of potassium and, to a lesser extent, magnesium. These minerals are electrolytes, just like sodium, and they work in concert with sodium to regulate critical bodily functions, including fluid balance, nerve signals, muscle contractions, and in maintaining a healthy heartbeat. The how. How do you implement this? It's simpler than you might think. It involves shifting your diet towards whole, unprocessed foods. Think fruits, vegetables, beans, lentils, nuts, and seeds. These foods are naturally lower in sodium and much higher in potassium and magnesium than processed foods. For example, instead of a salty snack, reach for a banana or a handful of unsalted almonds. Instead of canned soup, make your own with fresh ingredients. The scientific why. To understand the power of this, let's use an analogy. Imagine your body's fluid and electrical system is like a complex dance. Sodium is one key dancer, pulling water with it, influencing blood volume and pressure. But potassium is its essential partner. Potassium helps balance sodium's effects, promoting sodium excretion and helping blood vessels relax. Magnesium is another crucial member of the troupe, involved in transporting potassium and calcium across cell membranes, which is vital for muscle and nerve function, including the steady rhythm of your heart. When you have too much sodium relative to potassium, it's like one dancer is dominating the floor, disrupting the harmony. But by increasing potassium and magnesium, you restore the balance, allowing the dance to flow smoothly, supporting healthy blood pressure and cardiovascular function. This isn't just about lowering sodium. It's about achieving a harmonious balance of these essential minerals. Let's look at someone like Jane. For years, Jane, in her late 60s, meticulously tracked her sodium intake, aiming for that often recommended low target. She ate bland, unsalted food, avoided restaurants, and felt a constant low-level anxiety about every bite. Despite her efforts, her blood pressure remained stubbornly elevated, and she often felt fatigued and experienced muscle cramps, symptoms that can sometimes be linked to electrolyte imbalances, including low sodium or potassium. When Jane learned about the importance of electrolyte balance, she was skeptical. More salt? But I've been told for years to cut it, she thought. But the idea of focusing on adding good things, rather than just restricting, resonated with her. She started small. She added a banana to her breakfast, swapped her salty crackers for unsalted nuts, and made a conscious effort to include more leafy greens and beans in her meals. Initially, she didn't notice a dramatic change. It felt like just another dietary chore, but she stuck with it. After a few weeks, she realized she had more energy. The muscle cramps lessened, and then the breakthrough. Her blood pressure readings started to creep down, slowly but steadily. It wasn't a sudden fix, but a gradual, sustainable improvement. Jane discovered that the anxiety around salt began to fade as she focused on nourishing her body with a wider range of vital minerals. She wasn't fighting salt anymore. While balancing electrolytes is foundational, There's a second strategy that doesn't just complement Pillar 1, it amplifies its effects. This strategy addresses another critical factor often overlooked in the salt debate: the source of the sodium. The what? This strategy is about drastically reducing your intake of processed foods, which are the primary source of excess sodium in most people's diets. It's not just the salt shaker on your table. It's the hidden salt in packaged snacks, ready-made meals, processed meats, and even seemingly innocent items like bread and sauces. The how. Implementing this means cooking more meals from scratch, using fresh, whole ingredients. It means reading labels and choosing products with minimal or no added sodium. It means becoming a detective in the grocery store, recognizing that the convenience of processed food often comes at a high sodium cost. The scientific why. Think of Pillar 1, balancing electrolytes, as building a strong engine for your body's fluid regulation system. Pillar 2, reducing processed foods, is like using high-quality fuel. Processed foods don't just contain excessive sodium, they are often low in the very nutrients, like potassium and magnesium, that help balance sodium. They also frequently contain unhealthy fats, sugars, and additives that contribute to inflammation and other metabolic issues that negatively impact cardiovascular health, independent of salt. When you combine reducing processed foods with increasing potassium-rich whole foods, you create a powerful synergy. You're not only reducing the intake of problematic sodium, but also increasing the intake of minerals that help your body process and excrete sodium more effectively. It's a double-barreled approach that supports your body's natural regulatory mechanisms. This combination is not just 1 plus 1 equals 2. It's 1 plus 1 equals 5, creating a far more robust defense for your heart health. Now, here's the point where many people stumble. They hear reduce processed foods and increase whole foods, and they think, that sounds complicated. That sounds expensive. That sounds like too much work. This is the common pitfall, believing that healthy eating has to be difficult or restrictive. This is where most people give up. They try for a few days, feel overwhelmed by meal planning or label reading, and revert to old habits. But here's how to fly right past it. Start small. Don't try to overhaul your entire diet overnight. Pick one meal to cook from scratch each week. Swap one processed snack for a piece of fruit. Focus on adding one potassium-rich food to your daily routine. Remember Jane? Her success came from small, consistent changes, not a radical, unsustainable diet. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. By anticipating this feeling of overwhelm and breaking the changes down into manageable steps, you build momentum and make lasting change achievable. Don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. But what if I told you that both of these powerful strategies, balancing electrolytes and reducing processed foods, are just tools? They are incredibly effective tools, yes, but they are not the ultimate solution. The real power isn't in the tool itself, but in the hand that wields it. We've talked about external actions, what you eat, what you avoid, but there's an unseen force, an underlying operating system within your body that dictates how effectively those tools work, how your body responds to sodium, and ultimately, how resilient your cardiovascular system is. This operating system is your body's intricate network of hormonal and physiological processes that regulate everything from blood pressure and fluid balance to inflammation and stress response. As we age, this system can become less efficient, less adaptable. It's why some people are more salt-sensitive than others, why some bodies handle dietary challenges with ease while others struggle. Understanding and supporting this internal operating system is the key to unlocking true, lasting cardiovascular resilience. It's the pivot from focusing solely on what you eat to understanding how your body uses what you eat and how you can optimize that internal environment. The deep mechanism, the operating system we've been hinting at, is your body's incredible ability to maintain homeostasis, a state of internal balance. Think of your body not just as a collection of organs, but as a sophisticated, self-regulating ecosystem. In this ecosystem, electrolytes like sodium and potassium are like vital currents, flowing and interacting to keep everything running smoothly. Let's use an extended metaphor. Imagine your body is a complex city, and your bloodstream is the river flowing through it, delivering supplies and carrying away waste. Sodium is like a key building material, essential for construction, nerve and muscle function, and maintaining the river's water level, fluid balance. Potassium is like the city's waste management and transport system, helping to regulate the flow and remove excess. In a healthy city, a body with optimal homeostasis, the building material is used efficiently, and the waste management system is robust. The river level stays within a healthy range, but if there's too much building material flooding in, excess sodium from processed foods, and the waste management system is understaffed or inefficient, low potassium intake, age-related changes in kidney function, the river can rise, flooding the city. High blood pressure. Salt sensitivity, then, isn't just about how much salt you eat. It's about how well your city's infrastructure, your kidneys, your hormones, your vascular system handles the flow. Some people's cities are naturally better equipped to manage a higher influx of building material. Others struggle. Pillar 3 is about optimizing this city's infrastructure. It involves supporting your body's natural homeostatic mechanisms. This includes factors like managing chronic stress, ensuring adequate hydration, getting enough quality sleep, and engaging in regular physical activity. These lifestyle factors might seem separate from diet, but they profoundly impact how your body regulates electrolytes, blood pressure, and inflammation. Stress, for example, can activate hormonal systems that cause your body to retain sodium. Lack of sleep can disrupt metabolic processes. Exercise can improve vascular function and help your body manage fluid balance. By focusing on these foundational elements, the sleep, the stress management, the movement, you strengthen your city's infrastructure, making it more resilient to dietary challenges and supporting its natural ability to maintain balance, regardless of minor fluctuations in sodium intake. This is unlocking the master control, supporting the operating system itself. When you start to master this internal state, when you support your body's natural homeostasis by balancing electrolytes, reducing processed foods, and optimizing your lifestyle, something remarkable happens. It creates a cascade effect, a ripple of positive change that extends far beyond just blood pressure or heart health. As your body's fluid balance improves, you might notice reduced swelling in your ankles and feet. As your electrolyte balance is restored, muscle cramps and fatigue can subside, leading to increased energy and mobility. Better sleep and stress management not only support cardiovascular health, but also improve mood, cognitive function, and overall well-being. This isn't just about adding years to your life. So let's return to our central question. Is salt really the enemy of heart health? Based on what pioneering clinical researchers are now discovering, the answer is both yes and no. Yes, excessive sodium intake, particularly from processed foods, can be detrimental, especially for those who are salt-sensitive or have underlying health conditions. But no, salt itself is not the sole villain, and simply cutting it without considering the broader picture is an incomplete and potentially harmful strategy. The real enemy isn't salt. The grand synthesis is this. Optimal heart health, especially as we age, isn't achieved by fixating on a single nutrient like salt. It's achieved by supporting your body's entire ecosystem through a balanced intake of essential minerals like sodium, potassium, and magnesium. By prioritizing whole, unprocessed foods, and by building a resilient internal state through healthy lifestyle habits. And this brings us to the single, elegant, and powerful keystone principle that distills this entire journey. Focus on balance, not restriction. Knowing this is powerful, but knowledge becomes truly transformative only when put into action. Let's create an ignition sequence to start building this new reality in the next 72 hours. Day 1. Take one small step towards balancing electrolytes. Add a potassium-rich food to one meal today. It could be a handful of spinach in your omelet, a banana with breakfast, or some lentils in your soup. Just one addition. Day 2. Focus on reducing processed foods. Identify one processed item you typically consume and replace it with a whole food alternative. Swap your usual salty snack for unsalted nuts or seeds. Choose a piece of fruit instead of a packaged treat. Day 3. Connect with your internal state. Dedicate just 10 minutes to a stress-reducing activity. This could be deep breathing, a short walk in nature, listening to calming music, or gentle stretching. This simple act reinforces the importance of supporting your body's operating system. Day 1, Day 2, Day 3. One small action each day to ignite the process of balance and transformation. This isn't about perfection. It's about creating unstoppable momentum. You have embarked on a journey, moving from the fear of a single nutrient to the empowerment of understanding your body's intricate wisdom. You are no longer simply reacting to external warnings. You are actively participating in creating a state of internal balance and resilience. The horizon is a future where you approach food not with anxiety, but with understanding, where you trust your body's ability to regulate itself when given the right support, where vibrant health is not a distant dream, but a lived reality, built on the foundation of balance. What small step will you take today to honor your body's need for balance? Share your thoughts and join the conversation below. This journey towards understanding and balance is a powerful legacy you build for yourself and potentially for those you love.